Hello and welcome to the Back Nine Report. My name is Carlos Torres, and I get together with Fred Altvater to bring you the latest news, insights, analysis, interviews, recaps, previews. Here we cover anything and everything golf. In other words, if it happened in golf, we have it for you. Fred, hi, how are you today?
Hey, Carlos, fantastic. Boy, last weekend, some Asian players, of course, the tours are over. The LPGA was in Korea and the PGA Tour was in Japan, but Asian players jumped to the top and kind of dominated. We're seeing some big Asian influence right now on both tours.
They definitely do. And we are going to talk about Hideki Matsuyama and Jin Young Ko that definitely dominated this past weekend. But definitely, what does this mean for the tour for them, and especially for Jin Young Ko and the LPGA, that race that she's having with Nelly Korda that's going to come down to the end of the year to see who's going to be on top. So, but let's start talking about Hideki Matsuyama, because coming into the Zozo Championship, he didn't seem faced one bit about the pressure that he was under there in his home country. And let me tell you, Japan definitely can overwhelm you with attention. So
did you see the group of photographers that would be ahead of him on every shot? There must have been like 10 or 12 photographers down the fairway or off to the side photographing every shot. That has to be distracting.
It definitely is, and that's what we saw only on the course. Once you get out, and I have seen this back in Puerto Rico with Rio Ishikawa, that at the time was the Japanese player. I mean, we had to make a special arrangement for him for the Japanese media only. That's not the rest of the media. The Japanese media only. They had a special place for Rio, so every time he finished, he would sit down there, and it was just like, wow, we have a rock star. And right now, Hideki Matsuyama is definitely one. And he was leading throughout the whole tournament. But that was until the back nine on the final day, when he actually lost the lead for the very first time. And you could see the collective, oh my God, he did it. But anyway, he wouldn't be flustered. He produced a stunning display, which included 3 birdies and an eagle and the last hole for what was at the end a resounding 5-shot victory. He was like, don't worry about this, I got it. This win extends his superb calendar year of 2021, because of course the season ended already, with his first major title at the Masters, being followed by the victory here in his home country of Japan. With this victory, Matsuyama secured his 7th PGA Tour win, along with 9 international victories, adding to that Super Masters title that he secured in April. We know his best year was to date was 2017, when he won 3 times. If you don't include that this year, of course, he won the Masters, but that was his only win on a season, right? The biggest one of his career, but still, 2017 was when we were saying, okay, it's just about time for him to really go to the sky was the limit for him, but some injuries and personal situations really precluded him from doing it. Now he finally seems to be back to be himself, back to be healthy. You ask, and I ask you, can we start to consider him back to the elite players group?
Yeah, when you think about, when I think about elite golfers right now, I think about Dustin Johnson, I think about Justin Thomas, Rory, of course, Jordan Spieth, who's playing at a high level, and then, of course, Colin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele. Those are the guys I think about. I haven't been including Hideki in that thought process or in that conversation, but I may have to change what I'm doing, because Hideki won the Masters, for goodness sake, and now, I guess it's the fact that kind of in 2019 and 2020, he kind of went away from consciousness, right? He just wasn't a factor. Like you said, he had some nagging injuries that were affecting him. Plus, he had some personal issues that he was dealing with. And I think he's worked through that stuff now, and he's grown and matured. And I think what we're seeing now is a Hideki Matsuyama who is an adult, who's ready to take on responsibility, who can handle the pressure. Did you see the 3 woods that he was hitting 270, 280 yards into those par 5s? I mean, they were majestic. they weren't just good, they were fantastic. And he was doing it time after time. He played really, really well. Now, I must add here, Carlos, that golf course that they played, I mean, it looks like kind of like an Augusta National replica, right? We saw Tiger win there in 2019. We know how well he plays Augusta National. And now we saw Hideki win at Augusta, and now he wins at the same golf course. So it was nice to see the tour get to go to Japan, travel outside the United States. That was great. There was no fans there. The Japanese government didn't allow any fans, but it was great to at least see him travel over there. So that course, the putting, there was a lot of slope, a lot of undulation in those greens, and Hideki was able to handle it. He was able to handle the fairways, the rolling fairways. It reminded me a lot of Augusta as I was watching the tournament. So, as you mentioned, now with 7 career PGA Tour victories, plus a major, he's on a hot streak. He's on a roll. You got to put him right up there with the top guys out there, I think, right now, Carlos.
Definitely. I mean, he has right now climbed all the way to 12th in the official world golf rankings. And it's been a while, at least 3 years since he has been this high. And like I said, he finally looks healthy. He looks to be in a good place finally with his wife and everything coming out right now into the world. Everybody knows what he is and what he's about. I think I would still have to see if he really can keep this consistency going, but I can expect that on his mind is finally back. It's just about seeing him playing a little bit more and see if he can bring it outside of those two. I have to agree that one thing, he knows that course perfectly, and second one, I have to agree, I didn't think about it that way, but you hit it on the nail on the head. It looks a lot like it really reminds you a lot of Augusta. So definitely it would feel like if he had that experience there and he knows how to play. But that makes me think about something else. He might have a very good outing because he has played the Masters well. So he might have another good outing next year. So that would take him
back to back Masters.
If he goes back to back, I'm not gonna say because Bubba has won twice. So he has stayed where he is, but Hideki winning back to back, that would definitely bring it, that would definitely put him into elite company. But anyway, let's talk about another elite player. And this is Jin Young Ko, another Asian player. And you all know that's my favorite LPGA player. And in winning her 2nd consecutive event on the LPGA, she has jumped over Nelly Korda for the #1 spot in the world rankings and the Rolex Player of the Year points. Ko has now 4 LPGA victories on the season, 1 more than Korda, though Korda won a major and the Olympic gold. But the 26-year-old South Korean now has a 15-point lead over Korda in the Rolex Player of the Year race with only 2 events left on the schedule. Ko has won now 4 of her last 7 events. Definitely the momentum is with her. Well, Nelly Korda, and we have talked about this before, she has been slowing down a little bit at this end of the year. For Korda, she played for Ko, she played her last 3 rounds in South Korea bogey free, hit 62 of 72 greens. So now with victories at the Cognizant Founders Cup and last week's BMW Championship, Ko has gone from 116 to 176 points to surpass Nelly, who stands at 161 points. Now let's explain a little bit about this. A tournament victory is worth 30 points. Second place is 12 points, 39, and 4th through 10th place at a tournament is decreased incrementally by a point beginning at 7. Korda and Ko will both be playing the LPGA's final 2 events in the season in November, which is the Pelicans Women's Championship and the CME Group Tour Championship. Now, following those 2 players on the points list is Thailand's Pari Tavatanake, the Rookie of the Year, with 121 points. Mathematically, she's not eliminated yet. She's also slated to play in the final 2 events alongside Korda and Ko. However, for Patty, she would need to win both tournaments, while Jin Young Ko needs to fall out of contention in both events for her to have a chance. A poor performance of Fred for Jin Young Ko at the Tokyo Olympics in August, push her to her previous instructor and a regimen of work for a month that caused her to skip the AIG Women's Open, British Open. And she said she would arrive at the range at 8 a.m. and finish her work at around dinner time. Went back and forth between practice and the gym. Definitely has paid off. And I think she's back for good in number one. Before Nelly took over and COVID hit, that she had to stay out there home in Japan. She didn't came up here to play as she would. I think that affected her in the rankings. Of course, Nelly, we cannot take anything away from her. She came out and played and take the number one straight out from Jin Young. But I think she's back, and she's proving why she's the best women's player in the world.
Yeah, Nelly Korda played great up through June. Since June, she really has not done that much. And that's allowed. And now Jin Young Ko really got started in July. So as you documented her last 7 events, she's won 4 of those, but she's also put in there a tie for 6th, a runner up. So, you know, she's just been right there. She's been really solid, playing at the level we thought she would play before COVID hit. You know, she was dominating without any question. So she's, you know, Nelly Korda, number 1 in the world, whatever. Well, Jin Young Ko is the best player in the world when she's on. Nelly Korda is very good, but JYK is fantastic. And she just doesn't get rattled. She doesn't get excited. And you documented, you said it, she put the work in. She said, okay, we got to go back to the drawing board here. I'm not playing well. I'm not in the right shape. I got to get this done. And that's what it takes. That's what it takes to get to the top and stay on top. So fantastic for her. You mentioned it, 2 tournaments just remaining. They got the Pelican, and then they got the CME Group Championship. I don't see Jin Young Ko wavering in any way. I would be surprised if she falls below below 5th place in either one of those, and she might even win again. So, she's fun to watch. I enjoy watching her. She's obviously the best player out there right now. And so we got kind of a tournament, we got kind of a tournament inside a tournament here the next couple of weeks. Can Nelly catch her, and can Jin Young Ko maintain the high level of play for the next 2 events?
Definitely, that's what everybody's going to be looking at. Those 2, how they're going to finish in the leaderboards. And if I were the tournament organizers, I would just put them at least on those first 2 rounds together, because that's definitely a tournament to watch, just by seeing how they can go at each other there. With Jin Young Ko, you gotta say, because her streak, and we had talked about this when we started to compare both players, Nelly and Jin Young Ko, a couple of weeks ago. Jin Young Ko had a streak of 60 of scoring in the 60s, 14. That first week, that first round, it ended it. And anybody could have said, like, okay, I'll fold it. That's it. No, she came in with a nothing to lose attitude afterwards, and she scored amazingly. And that's what took her. I mean, that's another thing that you can see from Jin Young Ko, is that her mental toughness is just out of this world. And in the women's game, she's definitely number 1 right now. Like you mentioned, when she's on, she's the best. And right now, she's surely on. So
I could see her, I could see her over the next 2 or 3 years, if she continues to play at this level. I can see her reaching Annika levels, and put her name up with the greats in the game over the next 3 or 4 years.
Definitely, she's 26. She has a lot that she can still give. And I would agree. I think that we're going to see elite levels that we haven't seen in a while from an LPGA player. If somebody has it, if she stays healthy and no more pandemics, hey, Jin Young Ko is going to be the one to watch. But anyway, thank you for joining us one more time. And remember to subscribe to our channel so you can keep up to date with the latest in golf news and information. And also follow us on Twitter. Remember that our ID is Back9 Report with the number 9 in the middle. Thank you for joining us.